Hello. My name is Isabel Moore. I'm continuing with the studies about the introduction of divine the principle of creation. Introduction, okay? The principle of creation. Okay. The object of living gods and his dispensation are not like fossils, but rather are personas who are very much alive and active. Then, who is the present focus of God's dispensation? It is not the people of Jesus' time, not the people of Moses' age, nor primitive men still farther back. It is contemporary men living here and right now. Yet we cannot deny that today most young people are not interested in churches and that people in general are turning away from them. Demands a clear and deeper understanding of the truth, the church, and Yet we cannot deny that today most young people are not interested in churches and that people in general are turning away from them. The rational and scientific emphasis of people today demands a clear and deeper understanding of truth and explanation of the seeming contradiction in religion, teaching, and practice before they will take up a religion way of life. Yeah, right. As we have seen, the God's historical process of restoration, God is alive and new expression of the truth, one that can lead the people of this age to salvation and a new age. Today, many difficult questions arise during examination of the Bible. For example, what is the proper relationship of God, Jesus, the man? What is the correct understanding of resurrection in the last days? Why must Jesus return, and when and how will he return? Answers to all of the questions being given in parables and symbols, but they have yet to be clear explained. We read in John 16:25 that Jesus said, I have said this to you in figures. The hour is coming when I should no longer speak to you in figures, but tell you plainly of the Father. In John 16:12-13, we read that he also said, I have yet many things to say to you, but you cannot bear them now. When the Spirit of the truth comes, he will guide you into all the truth. Okay? For he will not speak on his own authority, but with whatever he hears, he will speak, and he will declare to you the things that are to come. And in Revelation, 10:11, we read, you must again prophesy about many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. Yeah, you must again prophesy about many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. Each of these passages indicates that in the last days a new expression of the truth will be given. However, since it will be new revelation, there will be some aspect which may not be understood in light of conversational doctrine or tradition. For example, if thought Jesus' teaching were based on the Old Testament, the people of this time were bound to such as literal interpretation of Old Testament. That's the problem. that they could not understand Jesus. It was for this reason that Jesus said, new wine must be put into fresh wineskins. wineskins. Luke 5:38, he was teaching then that they had to make themselves new if they were to receive the new words. Jesus said you have to become anew to receive the new words. You put a mentality, he knew your mentality, not live in an old mentality to understand the new. That's what Jesus said in these chapters I just read. Continue. For example, if that's what Jesus said. Testament is one. For example, if we thought Jesus' teaching were based on the Old Testament, the people of the time were bound to such a literal interpretation of the Old Testament that they could not understand Jesus. That's right, because Jesus was teaching new laws, and there was hanging old laws. They didn't want to understand the new laws. They chose to not. It was for the reason that Jesus said, new wine must be put in new wineskins. Luke 5:38. He was teaching then the new words. We know that God worked through Noah and Abraham, and we know that God spoke with Moses, and Jesus is the same God who is alive today and able to give new revelation. The church does not send another human interpretation of the Bible. The church does not need another human interpretation of the Bible. What matters is how God interprets it, and that we fulfill his will by living it. By living it, okay? There is another reason that man needs a new, deeper expression of the truth. We can clearly see the rapid collapse of the modern civilization of order in consent society with not satisfaction replacement in sight. A feeling of emptiness, loneliness, and discontent had led to despair, confusion, self-indulgence, and alcohol and drug and abuse. Confusion throughout society about standards of value and conduct that has caused the strong trend toward egoism and accompanying the breakdown of the families, the rapid increase in crimes, broken families, alcohol, drugs. Yeah, and the families. See where I stay. Confusion through society about standard values conduct has caused a strong trend towards egoism, accompanying it breakdown of the families and rapid increased crime, juvenile delinquency, and all kind of immorality, which are unsettling the foundation of society and causing a loss of hope in the future. That's right. Violence and war, which are prevalent in racism, the unequal distribution of wealth, the impotence of the world religions, and leading the modern age and the expansion of atheistic communism all reinforce the doubts about the prospects for modern civilization. Excuse me. None of those crises can be completely or if partially solved in a instant. A fundamental and eternal solution is needed. Since God is alive, he will definitively save mankind from this crisis through a new revolutionary approach. The key to truly solving or eliminating of those problems is knowing and understanding their cause. To solve the problems, we need to understand the root, the cause. Okay? Yeah. Principle eliminate. The principle explains this cause and then presents clear and practical solution that through education make it possible for the individual and the families to solve the problem. The broken families, the total, all kind of problems, which are the core of human society, fulfilling and happily alter their lifestyles. To fallen men, knowledge is intellectual and spiritual renewal. Ignorance is death and destruction. No aesthetic sentiment can come from ignorance, nor can will or hope flourish in it. And ignorance and misunderstanding of God cause men to turn away from God and to despair. Ignorance of the truth take the man away from God and the reality and to destroy themselves. The principle not only shows that God exists, but also explain the origin, the heart of God, and the details of his dispensation as revealed in history. Moreover, it fosters a change of the character for those who sincerely want to find God through the spiritual experience with the Holy Spirit. That's it. That's what we need to do. If you eliminate the ignorance spiritual, we can discover God and the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit. Yeah. Of God, the tales of his dispensation, revelate the history. Yeah, and now the Holy Spirit. The more we experience the true love of God through the principle, the more we experience our own recreation. Furthermore, we are able to develop a genuine and sincere human relationship with others, with the truth. Thought developments and the means of communication, travel and truth, trade and cultural exchanges, the world has been drawn externally so close together that now each nation directly or indirectly influences all others. That's true. Where's the others influence all others? Why stay here? Yeah. However, the basic content of human relationship is still distrust and hate based on self-centeredness and mutual lack of concern. In other words, despite this external trend towards a one-world community, unity and harmony in the trust sense are not present. Excuse me. It's not present. No? Excuse me. Oh, it's warm here. It's very hot. Principle the best needed. I'm looking and stay. And God's love alone can make it. Unity, harmony, and the trust sense are not God present. In God's love alone can make them possible. The principle teaches that families is the basic unity needed for the realization of God's love. The